Yes, welcome back students. In this video, we are going to talk about the last colligative properties, that is osmosis and osmotic pressure. So what do you mean by osmosis? In order to understand this process of osmosis, now let us take the examples that will happen in our daily life. Clear? So if we take a vessel of saline water, that means water with added sodium chloride. Saline, it stands for salt. Okay, water plus sodium chloride with table salt, that will gives you the saline water. Okay, if you add a mango in it, this is mango. Imagine that this looks like mango. Okay, so if you add mango in this saline water, what happens? After some time, this mango will shrink. The size of the mango decreases. Why it is? Why? What is the reason for that? Okay, let us take one more example. If you keep the carrot in fresh water. See, in this case, in the second case, you do not have any added solutes. It is a fresh water. If you keep a carrot, what happens after some time? What happens? It means that in case of this one, this is mango, this is carrot. Both look similar, but don't misunderstand. Clear? So if you keep a mango in the saline water, that means the water which contains sodium, dissolved sodium chloride in it, this mango shrinks. After some times. But whereas if you keep the carrot in fresh water, that means the water without any added or without any dissolved salts, this carrot will, the size increases. The carrot size increases. Why? What is the reason for these two changes of the mango and the carrot? So if you carefully observe these two things, it depends on the membrane. Clear? So this surface is common for both mango and also the water. In this case, this surface is common for both the carrot and also the fresh water. So through this membrane, something is passing in order to make the mango to shrink or the carrot to increase in size. Something should happen along this membrane. That we shall discuss now. So in this case, we take mango. It is of lower concentration. Clear? The carrot is of lower concentration, whereas water plus added solute. That means the saline water is of higher concentration. So what happens? The water inside the mango, it will flow from lower concentration to higher concentration. Clear? So through this semi-permeable membrane, clear? We have a new word now. Semi-permeable membrane. Clear? See, we observe this word. Semi means, it is semi-finals, or it means partial. Clear? Or only some amount. Clear? Permeable means permit. Semi means partial. It means that semi-permeable membranes are the membranes actually which allows only the solvent molecules to pass through them. Clear? So these are the membranes which allows only the solvent particles to pass through them. So this we call it as semi-permeable membrane. See here, we observe this is a semi-permeable membrane. That means it allows only the solvent particle to pass through them. Which is the solvent particle here? Water. Clear? So the added salt is a solute. In case of mango, also the water content in the mango acts as a solvent particle. So in this case, this mango is of lower concentration and this water, that is saline water, is of higher concentration. So what happens? The water content from lower concentration, it will pass to the higher concentration through this semi-permeable membrane. So it loses, the mango will loses the water content on end. So after some time the mango shrinks. So this process of movement of the solvent particle from lower concentration to higher concentration through the semi-permeable membrane, we call it as osmosis. Clear? In this case also the same thing, carrot, the concentration of the carrot will be more. Clear? Because here in this case fresh water, there will be no added solute. That means it is only the fresh water. So the solvent molecules enter into the carrot. So the carrot size widens up, the carrot size increases. Clear? This is the concept behind osmosis. Now let us look at the standard definition of osmosis. Osmosis is the movement of solvent particles from lower concentration to higher concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. It is very important. Through a semi-permeable membrane is called osmosis. Clear? So you got the definition of semi-permeable membrane. These are the membranes which allows only the solvent particle to pass through them. And coming to osmosis, the movement of solvent particles from lower concentration to higher concentration through a semi-permeable membrane, we call it as osmosis. Now let us look at the osmotic pressure. Osmotic pressure. So it is very simple. You got the concept of osmosis, then definition of osmotic pressure is very simple. So this is the pressure applied to stop osmosis. Clear? So this is the most simple definition of osmotic pressure. The pressure which is applied to stop osmosis, we call it as osmotic pressure. Clear? So this is represented by the simple pipe. Clear? So this is the concept behind osmosis. Now let us look at the next concept. See, based on this osmotic pressure, we have divided the solution into three types. Okay, so based on this osmotic pressure, we have divided the solution into three types, and it is, one is isotonic solutions. One more is hypertonic solutions, and the last one is hypotonic solutions. See, these three, this is just a comparative study. Clear? There is no perfection in this. We are just comparing two things. For example, clear? So we will be taking two solutions. And measuring their pressure, osmotic pressure. Based on that, we are dividing them into isotonic, hypotonic or hypertonic solutions. Now let us see that. Let us take red blood cells. Initially in a plate, clear? These are the red blood cells, clear? We take in three parts. Obviously over here and here also the same red blood cells we take. So now we take one more solution, that is 0.9% of sodium chloride in water. Yeah, mass by volume percentage you have studied. 0.9% of mass by volume sodium chloride in water. So if you put this solution into red blood cell, what happens? There will be no osmosis. Clear? There will be no osmosis. Why it is so? It is because the osmotic pressure of this solution, that is 0.9% of sodium chloride in water, will be equal. Let us consider this red blood cells as A, solution A, and let us consider this sodium chloride in water as solution B. In this case, the pressure of the solution A, the pressure of 0.9% of sodium chloride in water will be equal to the pressure of red blood cells. That means the concentration will be same. So in that case, there will be no movement of solvent particles from one place to another place. It stands itself. Clear? So this is the first case. So these type of solutions which have the same osmotic pressure, we call it as isotonic solutions. Clear? Isotonic solutions are the solutions which has the same amount of osmotic pressure. Clear? So now in this case, let us take above 0.9%. This is A, this is solution A, and in case of B, let's have 2.5% or 2% of sodium chloride in water. So what happens now? And in this case, now let us say below 0.9%. That is, this is solution A, and for B, let us take 0.5% of sodium chloride in water. So what happens now? What happens in this case? It is 2.0% of sodium chloride in water. That means the concentration of sodium chloride has been increased. So this is a solution of higher concentration, whereas this is a solution of lower concentration. So what happens now? So what is osmosis? It is the flow of solution from lower concentration to higher concentration. So from the data given, you can easily tell that 0.9% it is isotonic. Clear? The osmotic pressure will be same. It is 2.0, that means it is more than the isotonic value. So what happens is of the higher concentration. So the solvent molecules from red blood cells will flow towards the sodium chloride solution, that is the saline water, and then what happens? Red blood cells shrinks. Yeah, these type of solutions we call it as hypertonic solutions. So that means the osmotic pressure is greater than that of the given solution. We call it as hypertonic solutions. And now let us look at the last one, hypotonic solutions. In this case, we have taken lesser than that of the isotonic value, that is 0.9%. So what happens in this case? It is of the lower concentration, whereas this of the higher concentration. So what happens is this red blood cells increases in size. Increases in size. It is increases in size. It is because see, we have taken just 0.5% of the sodium chloride solution. So the concentration is low here in this case. So this type of solution, so osmotic pressure is lesser than the top of the given solution. We call it as hypotonic solutions. Clear? Now let us look at the simple formula. How does this concentration is proportional to pressure? So we have talked about even concentration and we have the pressure. So you have to understand that pi will represent it for the osmotic pressure. So and it is directly proportional to the concentration of the solution. Clear? So in order to remove the symbol, pi equals CRP. We are adding two constants. One is universal gas constant and one more is temperature. Right? R is the universal gas constant, and D is the temperature. Yeah, this is the simple form of osmotic pressure. Now let us see the one more concept called reverse osmosis. The next concept is reverse osmosis. As the word suggests, osmosis is the movement of solvent particles from lower concentration to higher concentration. So, in this reverse osmosis, if we apply the pressure to the part of higher concentration, the solvent will flow reversibly. That means the solvent will flow from higher concentration to the lower concentration. Clear? So, this type of osmosis process we call it as a reverse osmosis. Example is desalination of seawater. You just observe this word desalinization. Saline means it is salt. Saline means saline water, that means water which consists of added salt in it. Desalinization, D means to remove. Clear? So desalinization of salt water means removing the salt content from the seawater to make it fresh water. Clear? So this process we call it as desalinization of seawater. Now if you look at the simple representation of this, see we have the semi-permeable membrane. We use is cellulose acetate we use as a semi-permeable membrane. See, this is the seawater. This is the seawater, and we will be having a piston here to apply the pressure. Here we will apply the pressure through the piston. Okay, so if you just apply this pressure, clear, what happens through semi-permeable membrane? Semi-permeable membrane is a membrane which allows only the solvent particles. Clear? Seawater means it consists of water plus added salt. Clear? Added salt. It's not specific. Added salt, dissolved salt. So water is the solvent here, and salt is the solute here. Semi-permeable membrane is a membrane which allows only the solvent particle to pass over. So if you just apply the pressure here, this seawater, in this we have the water as a solvent. This water will move from this part to this part through the semi-permeable membrane. That means only the solvent particle, that means only the water content will move from this part to this part, remaining the salt there itself. That means seawater is converted into fresh water. Clear? This is the main application of reverse osmosis. By applying extra pressure on a higher concentration part, we can remove the solute particle there itself, and through the semi-permeable membrane only the fresh water passes. So this process we call it as desalinization of salt water. This is the concept behind reverse osmosis. And now we are going for the last concept of this chapter, abnormal molar mass. Yes, abnormal molar mass. When you add ionic compounds to water, ionic compounds like for example KCl, when you add it to water, KCl, if you add it to water, what happens? KCl will be ionized as K plus and Cl minus. That means before adding it was only one component, but after adding, that means after dissociation, we have two components. Clear? So these colligative properties I have clearly said in the definition itself. Colligative properties are the properties which depends only on the number of solute particles, but not on their nature. So if we just focus on the numbers, we have one number of KCl solution, KCl actually, and later after dissociation we have two, K plus and Cl minus. So that means the dissociation have taken place. So these two will combine together again to form, it may form association process to form KCl. So the calculated molar mass is never equal to the observed molar mass. Clear? So if you just calculate 1 molar mass, if you just measure that molar mass through experimentally, those two values are not always same. Yeah, it will differ. It may increase or it may decrease. So this type we call it as abnormal molar mass. This concept is clearly given by a factor called Van Hoff's factor. This concept of abnormal mass is given by Van Hoff's factor. It is represented by the symbol I. Clear? According to this concept, it is Van Hoff's factor is given by normal molar mass divided by the calculated molar mass. Abnormal molar mass. If I equals 1, that means we can have three values. No association or dissociation have taken place. Association have taken place. If I is greater than 1, it is dissociation. If I is lesser than 1, it is association. Yeah, this is the concept behind the Van Hoff's factor. The last one, this is used to measure the abnormal molar mass. And with this concept, we are ending this chapter, and we have numericals in elevation and boiling point and depression and freezing point concept that we will be focusing on the regular classes. Now, thank you.